Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, I am putting myself on like a pre-filming routine where I'm going to try and film as much as I can on weekends so I can then just edit during the week when I'm super slammed and busy at work. So hopefully I can start getting more video content out. I know the last like 3 weeks I've been very quiet on YouTube, but today we are going to talk about Cicada by Tanya Pell. If you have not heard of this book or this author before, this is part of the Killer VHS series that Shortwave Publishing has been putting out. It's all different authors tied together by this concept of using videotapes, like actual like video old school camcorders, and like actual physical VHS tapes to create a horror story around. Every author does some kind of different take on that concept, and this is book 4 in the series. I have now read books 1 through 5. You don't have to read them in order, and they're really fun. It's a great way to introduce yourself to new up-and-coming authors or authors you haven't heard of before. It's a lot of like shorter fiction. They're all about like 200 pages or less, and I'm really excited to talk about this one because, again, I have never read anything by Tanya Pell before. And this was a super cool concept, and it might be the best book that I've read in the series. I don't know. I still love the Candy Cane one. I love book 2, Candy Cane Kills. That's like a great slasher. This is a fun little like found footage style sort of, we can say creature feature, I guess. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. All right, so I'm gonna read the back. Ash is stranded at a rural horror film festival about a giant killer cicada and can't decide what's worse, the movie or her idiot boyfriend, until she realizes she's starring in the bloody sequel when people start dying and the locals won't let them leave. All right, super basic premise. Small town, horror festival, things go wrong, and it really plays up this idea of like found footage and creating your own found footage horror movie. The cicada creatures are super cool. It reminded me of being in 5th grade, I want to say, when like I grew up in like DC and the surrounding areas, and the cicadas all came out one year, and it was insane. And our science class took us out, and we got to just like go and like see all of the cicadas all across like the fields and the woods that were near my school. And I just remember it being so creepy and terrifying. And now I live in New York City where like we don't really see that ever as often because concrete jungle. But I just remember having all of that imagery in my brain while reading this. I think this did such a good job of not only creating that like eerie atmosphere of all of these like underground bugs emerging and just kind of being everywhere and like what that noise and environment is like, but then also utilize this kind of cosmic-y style horror monster as well to elevate that scenario. I think it was really interesting. Ash is she's a fine protagonist, I would say. I think my biggest issue with her is that her relationship with her boyfriend, which felt very much like a pivotal plot point for this novel, felt felt a lot like a caricature. And like they just seemed like a really like awful and toxic couple, which is kind of the point. But they just felt like such caricatures and such archetypes that I just had a really difficult time believing them as people. And because her boyfriend was just so awful, I really had a hard time believing that she ever actually liked him. He just seemed like a nasty person. But again, also very one-dimensional. We then have this other character named Cal, who just never felt really fleshed out to me. I really kept thinking the whole time that the big twist was going to be that like Cal was somehow like involved in everything that was going on. Why he's there is never explained. Why he shows up and takes interest in Ash is never explained. He just had all of these like cliche moments where I was like, oh, you're gonna be a bad guy, and then it just wasn't. So I'm just unsure if that was going to be originally the twist or if Tanya Pell just kind of forgot to, you know, answer a lot of questions about our main character, even though almost every other character got a background story. So I just found that a little strange. But I did think that the creepy town was amazing. I loved the kind of like locals versus tourists that is created in this. Again, very much a trope that you see over and over and over and over and over in these kind of stories of this like kind of like off the beaten path, teeny tiny town, draw the outsiders in for some reason, in this case a festival, and then things go very, very awry and you have these kind of evil townies about. I love that. I think Tanya Pell nailed that concept. I really liked the glimpse into the town that we got. I liked meeting so many different characters and figures. I liked the cop and the shop owner and the woman at the gas station. I thought it was all really, 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 really well done. Again, definitely tropes and cliches that we've seen a million times, but I think that's kind of the point of Killer VHS series, is to kind of bring to life a lot of the things that we love from B horror films and put it into a serialized set of stories. And I think this one absolutely nailed it. And so even though the character development wasn't fully there, and I did have a hard time believing some of the characters and their motivations and their backgrounds, I think overall this was fan-frickin-tastic, and I will gladly read more from Tanya Pell. I am so excited by this series. I know I've been talking about it a lot on my channel recently, but it's just something that I think is so cool and fun and needed in the horror lit world. We have a lot of high literary fiction coming out, and we also have a lot of just kind of extreme horror. There's these kind of two very, very different sides of the horror spectrum, and I think every now and then we just need something that's just like fun and cheesy, and it's just like goosebumps for adults. I've heard a lot of people say that about this series, and I just completely agree. So super, super, super freaking fun. And definitely like a little like jarring and scary at moments, but also very, very, very creative. If there's going to ever be another sequel, I know that Candy Cane Kills got a sequel. I would love to see a sequel for Cicada. I think it was really, really well done, and I loved, again, the use of the videotape in this. I think it worked phenomenally, and again, done kind of in a way that's like, is it found footage, is it not found footage, and it's not being read as found footage, so I really liked that aspect as well. Sorry, I live in the city. It's so noisy outside today. Anyways, 4 stars, just because a few minor things here and there that I'm just a little picky about, but if you're interested in the Killer VHS story series, I think that this is a great place to start. This or Candy Cane, even though Candy Cane is like very much Christmas horror, but this was so much fun to read, and I breezed through it. Anyways, that is all that I have for you guys today. As always, I am trying to get back to posting to my normal schedule. I will have a bunch of videos coming out soon. I am doing a like power film weekend this weekend, so hopefully all of that will be going up very, very shortly. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed these videos, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and I will catch you all in the next one. Mwah.